I would like to invite our first guest to the floor. I am joined by Tina Robertsson. She is Director, Sustainable Performance Absolut Vodka at the Absolut Company. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and I love to talk about this subject, and I think it's even easier when you have friends all around you.
You certainly do, and even if we're online, there are plenty of friends in this room, in this online space, eager to hear about some of your plans and ambitions on glass collection and recycling. So, Tina, over to you.
Thank you. Let's see. There's my presentation. Yeah, my name is Tina Robertsson. You heard that. But I can say a couple of more words around this. I've been working for this company almost 20 years now. And quite many of those years has been around sustainability, environment, but also quality, food safety, and laboratory and all those things. So I think I have a quite good view of the importance that everything and every aspect is taking into consideration. But let's talk a little more about the brand. This is our home and our community. And I just want to show this is actually the village I'm living in, and many of the people working for Absolut is living very closely to this plant. And yeah, Absolut is in Sweden, in very south of Sweden. And not just my home and the people working here, is also the home for Absolut Vodka. As you see, it's a very famous silhouette. It's an iconic glass bottle because not just is it a perfect vodka, but it's also in a perfect glass bottle. So a little more about us. It started in 1979, and it was very small brand from the very beginning, and we started to export to US. And still, since we started with just hundreds of bottles, we are still just produced in Aarhus in Sweden. So every drop is still coming from here. And we are also call it one community and one source due to that all the raw material is coming from very close by, from the very, very south part of Sweden. All the raw material winter wheat is coming from here. We have our own water from our own wells, and almost all the glass is coming from Arda, Limmared in Sweden. Last year, we produced 150 million bottles, and that is around like 4 to 5 bottles a second that is sold and consumed. Around 130 markets all over the world. I usually say this to Swedish when I'm presenting Swedish people that wherever you go, you can find an Absolut bottle. And that is like feeling for us like home. But I think it's maybe if you know the brand, also see us all over. And the interesting thing also is that 99% of what we are producing are exported. And it's actually Sweden's single largest food export. And we are the world's 7th largest spirit brand. And we are within Pernod Ricard Group, and this is also very important for us, and it's a great company to be owned by because they also have a very strong S&R strategy. So the sustainability and responsibility strategy is the one you see on the right. It's called Good Times from a Good Place. And as many companies today is of course checked, so the sustainable development goals are taking into consideration to see that we are covering everything and all the aspects that our company could affect. And of course, the part that we talk about today is included in the circular making part. But for us, I'm not sure if you can see this so well, but for Absolut, we have a very strong ambition. We want many things to happen to 2030. And to be able to say what we want to do, we made this visual to show that our responsibility is like the whole value chain. And this is what's all about when they call the glass loop too, to close it, because this is what we want to do also. We are showing on the left side more the local streams. It's about water, it's about our byproduct, the stillage, it's about the wheat, it's about the things that we could more closely work with here. The middle part is the heart, it's us and the production. But on the right side, you see the global part. Everything that's happening, the distribution, the transports, the packaging, and also recycling is covered there. And the fourth part we are working with is sustainable agriculture. It's about circular water use, climate neutrality. We want to have, or we will have, a climate neutral product to 2030, covering the whole value chain. And then we come to circular material use. And there is where packaging becomes a very important part. How can we see to that our packaging is reused or recycled? So that is more to come around that. Let's see here. This is actually a slide that I often use when I present our brand and how we feel about glass. There's many aspects about all packaging material, and of course with glass too, and we know that, all of us. But I think it's also very important to remember that glass is inert. It's a beautiful package, and it's also very good for vodka. Vodka is actually a solvent, and it needs to be in a packaging material that is strong, and it's very food safe in that way. And the thing I always say many times is to remember that glass can be recycled over and over again. And for us, this is also very important because we want to add as much recycled glass content as possible in our bottle. And today we have 53%. If you used to work with packaging that is green or brown, you think that maybe that is not so good. But to still have a clear bottle as we have and have as high content as we have, it needs to have a very good quality of the recycled glass. And I also try to get the message out that this is not just about material, it's about climate too, because you can reduce the carbon emissions quite much if you have high color rate in your packaging. And then we come to, of course, to say you have this ambition to 2030, you need to have a plan. And I know this is small, and it's not meaning that you're going to read in this, but we have a plan too. To be able to achieve that, you need to have a plan and actions. And we also need to know what we can do in what way. And Pernod Ricard, they have what they call the Global Sustainable Packaging Guideline, including different kind of packaging material, but also glass. And in the group, they are striving to reach 50% recycled content when it comes to clear glass. And they are working very hard with this too. And you just take one part out of this roadmap, and that is that we want to increase the color rate even more. But I think we will come into that when we talk later on, but it's of course depending on availability. It's depending on design. It's also about quality, and not least the lead content. So this was very, very short introduction of the Absolut Vodka brand and the vodka with nothing to hide. So Jean-Paul, I think that was all for now.
Thank you so much, Tina, for taking us through these ambitions. And indeed, I mean, we'll be going through some of the actions that you're taking during the conversations. This is but a teaser.